Greetings and salutations, travelers of the internet, and welcome to the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna, and we'll be your wise or not so wise mentors for today's audio adventure into all things storytelling.
Hello.
Hey, episode 2 of season 2.
Episode 2.
Also, we are super excited to be recording together in person.
Yeah.
But our setup is a little bit different than it normally is. So if things sound different than normal, that is why.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's worth it that, we get to do it together.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. It's nice to be in the same space.
Yeah, it's cool.
We're celebrating a very delayed Christmas this weekend with the family. So, and also Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, dear listener.
Yes.
In honor of the holiday, such as it is, we are...
such as it is.
Today we're talking about our OTPs, which we've mentioned before means one true pair. So we'll get into a little more what that means and have some back and forth on what our favorite OTPs are.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's talk about what we're reading, watching, playing, all that good stuff. So, Joseph, I'll let you go first.
Sounds good. So for watching, I'm still watching Legend of Vox Machina on Amazon, and that's been really fun. I'm a little behind. I've got some to catch up on. So there's a chance that we'll watch some of those after we record.
Yes.
Also Critical Role, obviously. And I also started watching Dimension 20 Fantasy High, which is another D&D streaming thing.
Oh.
It's really fun. It's been fun.
Do I know anyone that's in the cast for that one?
Probably not. I mean, you might have seen clips of it on TikTok if you're on that side of TikTok at all.
I definitely
am. Brennan is the DM guy. He's got kind of reddish hair. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I'm watching, and that's really fun.
The gal that did Exandria Unlimited, is she part of that group too, or is she in another? I can't think of what her name is now off the top of my head.
Oh, Abria, the DM?
Yes.
Yeah, she's done stuff with them before. Okay. For sure.
Cool.
She's not in Fantasy High yet anyway, but
okay.
Yeah. Also, been watching for anime Demon Slayer, which we just watched the last episode of season 2 today, and it was really good.
It was really good.
I'm sad that it's over.
I know. It was a short season.
Yeah. Ready for
season 3.
Season
1 was really long. There were a lot of episodes in season 1.
Well, because season 1 was all new content. Season 2, half of it we'd already seen with the Mugen Train. But, anyway, and also Attack on Titan, which we're going to be watching that later this afternoon also.
It's so nice to, be watching anime together in person again.
Yeah.
It's fun over FaceTime, but it's even better in person.
Yeah. For playing, I got that new Pokemon game on Switch.
Oh.
Legends Arceus, I think it is.
Okay.
Called. And it's kind of like Breath of the Wild, the Zelda game. And then it's very open world exploration, but it's also Pokemon.
Interesting.
It's really fun.
That's cool.
It's the first Pokemon game I've ever had. And also playing the One Ring still, which we are not gonna play tomorrow because it's Valentine's Day, and Hope and I are driving back home, so that's not gonna work. But at the end of the month we'll play. And for reading, still reading The Blade Itself for the read along, which that's going well. And
almost
still
done.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting close. And also still reading Wheel of Time, which I'm on the 6th book, Lord of Chaos, and I'm approaching the end of that one. I think I'm in the back part of that one. And for our delayed Christmas, I got a copy of the D&D Players Handbook. So I have been reading that too, or flipping through it. And that's been really fun.
Awesome.
Lots of really pretty artwork in there.
That's cool.
So,
I love that.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. How about you?
Well, I'm going to do my reading first. So we finished Farmer Boy in the book club, so that was really fun. We're taking a week off, so I didn't have to do, which kind of worked out because that means I didn't have to do any book club prep this weekend while we're doing family stuff. But we'll be starting Little House on the Prairie at the end of the month.
Nice.
And I am reading My Hero Academia Team Up. I said that weird. I've been watching My Hero Academia Team Up Mission, Volume 2, because that came out. And I'm also watching reading the My Hero Academia Vigilantes Volume 11, because I got that for Christmas from Josef and Hope. So, yeah. So super excited to be reading more of that. I'm also... last time I mentioned that I was reading the Avatar The Last Airbender Rise of Kyoshi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on book 2 now, and almost done with it. The Shadow of Kyoshi. So
nice.
Very,
very good. You like
Scratches a good itch for the Avatar stuff.
Awesome.
So, and then just to keep things fresh for you all, I'm also reading a book of poetry by Courtney Peppernell called Pillow Thoughts, and it's really good. So, if you need some, I don't know, if you like poetry, would recommend.
Pretty cool.
For watching, I also just finished Demon Slayer.
Yes.
And we'll be watching Attack on Titan later today.
Yes.
But I have also started rewatching Attack on Titan in English because I wanted to hear Matt Mercer as Levi.
Yeah.
And I forgot how non-present Levi is in the first season. At least the first half of the season. I was like, where's Captain Levi? I just want to hear Matt Mercer voice a character now that I know who he is.
Takes a while. Yeah.
And also watching Legend of Vox Machina. I'm not as behind as you, but I will happily rewatch a couple episodes to get you caught up.
Cool.
I also started watching The Crown, which I have seen like the first however many seasons, but I hadn't watched the latest season yet, which features like the Princess Diana stuff.
Oh.
So I started watching that while I was sewing. Critical Role Campaign 3, obviously. I'm ahead of you, and I'm so excited for you to get caught up because it's so good. The last episode was so good.
I would have watched it, but I was packing to come down here.
No, I'm so glad you missed it.
Yeah.
Because it meant you were here. And then also we finished the Book of Boba Fett. So.
Oh, you're right. I forgot to mention that. Yes.
Which I would like to talk about that again. And we'll put another little hey, this is the section if you haven't caught up.
Yeah.
And then for playing the One Ring, but also we played a new game last night with the Fam Bam.
Oh, we did. Called
Plunder. I wrote down Sunder, which is wrong. But I wrote Sunder down because I was watching Vox Machina and they had said, I was thinking of Geek and Sundry. Anyway, Plunder.
Brains are weird, man.
Brains are really weird. Plunder, which is basically a Catan game meets Pirates.
Right, which there's already a Seafarers Catan.
Yeah.
But this one is different. It's a little more tactical because you're moving your ships around.
Right.
But it was very fun. I liked it a lot.
You're not building roads, so it's not like you're cutting people off.
No.
Which I liked that was not. Because we end up in a lot of fights as a family over stupid roads in Catan.
Yeah.
So it was nice to not have that element. And because you're pirates, it's you're in a mindset where you're no, I'm a pirate, so it's my job to blow people up.
Yeah.
You don't feel
We're
as
supposed
precious.
to backstab each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really fun. Would highly recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, but briefly, Book of Boba Fett. You finished it, correct?
Yes, I have seen it all.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
I felt like...
and spoiler warning for Book of Boba Fett if you haven't caught up yet.
Yeah.
We're about to go really in depth on some of the things that we liked and didn't like. So, there's your warning. Proceed at your own peril.
Okay, so at the time of our last episode, we had just had the one Mandalorian episode, and then there were actually 2 episodes after that one. We had just watched The Return of the Mandalorian, that episode.
That sounds right, yeah.
So the next episode heavily featured Luke and Grogu.
Right.
And Ahsoka was in it, which was cool, but I just found it to be very irritating. The way that they were talking about, training Grogu, and Luke is building the new Jedi Order, and whatever.
Yeah.
And no attachments. Jedi can't have attachments. I'm Luke hasn't, given up on Leia.
Yeah.
Or,
Or Han, or...
I mean, that wasn't established, but we know that from, other source materials. So it's why does Grogu have to give up attachments? when Luke doesn't. And Luke is not a traditional Jedi anyway, so why? And the last Jedi Order clearly failed, partially because of the attachments issue.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we holding on to that so closely right now? And then the episode ends with Luke giving Grogu an ultimatum, which does not seem very
Mm-hmm.
Jedi-esque.
Only Sith deals in absolutes.
Right, so it's like, either you can choose this cool Mandalorian, like, male shirt that Mando had made for you, or this lightsaber that was Yoda's.
Right.
You
So
can only have defense or offense. You can't have both.
Right.
And that was... That episode ended and I was like, I don't like that. I don't like how they handled the New Jedi Order at all. Which we know doesn't go super well because of everything that happens with Kylo Ren and, like, you know, the newer trilogy. But it just annoyed me.
Yeah, I have thoughts too. So my thoughts were, this is a whole lot of no Boba Fett.
Yeah.
For a Boba Fett show.
Right.
And it just felt like
they shoehorned it in.
They shoehorned Mandalorian into Boba Fett because Mandalorian's popular.
Mm-hmm.
But the episodes that the Mandalorian was in ended up being better than the actual Boba Fett content.
Right. And
that was a little frustrating. Also,
I didn't even touch on the last episode because I also have thoughts about that one. But
furthering on down that line of thought, those episodes where Mandalorian was heavily featured should have just been the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Oh, for sure.
The next season.
Because he didn't need to be in the Book of Boba Fett.
No.
Boba Fett has other resources he could have called upon.
Like, if he would have called in some of his other bounty hunter buddies,
mm-hmm.
that would have been like some of those bounty hunters that were in the lineup during Empire Strikes Back. Like, if he had called Bosk in to help,
mm-hmm.
or like Dengar, or like his version, or his IG-88
yeah. I can't think of
co-worker, I don't know what the right word is. Like, they probably kind of competed against each other, but like, he knows people.
Because Cad Bane shows up and he knows him.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that in the animated series that Cad Bane kind of adopts him for a while. Like, I had forgotten that.
Yeah.
But and obviously Cad Bane isn't someone he could have called upon because they end up being against each other in this. But
right.
But that connection had a lot of other connections too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And he knew about Cobb Vanth, so it's not like Mando had to be the one to go talk to Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, it could have been if he had just called in some people that he already knew. Plus, he has a giant gladiator Wookiee.
Right.
You know, and he has the Vespa gang, which
are super irritating.
Some people liked them, most didn't. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
They just don't fit. Well, they just seemed pretty pointless. Like, I don't know. It was
really weird.
They definitely did not feel at home on Tatooine. They would have
brought a certain kind of aesthetic, but it didn't make sense.
They brought in this weird, cyberpunk. They should have. If this were a show where Boba Fett actually left Tatooine, which I wish they did, but if Boba Fett had left Tatooine and gone somewhere else like Coruscant or some
mm-hmm.
bigger city place, they would have fit right in and they would have actually been kind of cool. But
yeah,
we're on a dust ball, and it just felt really out of place because they don't have a ton of technology.
Right.
This is supposed to be like a backwater planet that nobody cares about, but they have these nice shiny. I don't know. It felt really out of place.
And these body modification people, it seems like a weird thing to be on Tatooine.
Yeah, they kind of treat it like a tattoo parlor.
Except it's removing organs.
Yeah, it's like
and
a mod.
replacing them with machine.
Yeah. It's I think you should have to have a medical license for this.
For sure.
It's a little weird, but no, I thought that Boba Fett could have been cool. It's just they were, I don't know.
Well, so then the last episode, it's this epic showdown that just felt like they brought up a lot of elements I didn't feel had been solidified well enough.
Yeah, it didn't earn some of the moments that they tried to.
Right, the Rancor is the only thing we've seen with the baby Rancor is that he met it. And he, like, wants to have a connection with it.
And wants to learn how to ride it.
But then he shows up riding it to face a giant droid Daka. I was like, where does that make sense? Yeah. To bring in a living, breathing baby of a impressive creature to fight a droid Daka that's huge with a huge force field that they can't get through. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, I thought that he was going to go I thought he was going to go get his ship and try to, like, blow them up with his ship, because the guns on your spaceship are going to be a little more heavy duty than these little blasters that you're trying to shoot at these things with. But well,
and also they kept, like, shooting the blasters at it. It clearly wasn't being effective, and I was like, why?
Yeah, I think that one I kind of wrote off in my head as, like, I mean, shields can eventually fail if they are taxed enough. Like, that's like, oh, we just lost our rear deflector shield. You know, that's kind of a sci-fi thing,
right.
And that does happen in Star Wars, like in the spaceships and stuff. So maybe that's what they were trying to do, which does eventually happen with the Rancor batting these things around. But it was just, yeah. See, if we had had more episodes of not the Mandalorian, we would have maybe seen Boba Fett learn how to ride a Rancor, or training his Rancor pet. We could have seen him try to go out and actually leave the planet and, like, try to recruit some old bounty hunter buddies of his.
Yeah.
And we could have gotten what we got with those episodes where the Mandalorian was in there, but it would have just been more Boba Fett, and it would have been cool, you know?
Yeah.
I really wish that Boba Fett would just leave Tatooine, because I'm so tired of desert. I'm so tired of it.
I know, and I was trying to figure out why they even have him on Tatooine. Because it's not like he has any affinity to Tatooine from the clone, like, from the first, like, episodes 1 through 3.
Yeah.
And, like, the only thing is that in episode 6, we think he dies on Tatooine.
Yeah.
I guess he's stuck there for a little bit. But, like, once he got off of Tatooine, why did he go back? Everyone is trying to leave Tatooine.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about Jabba Hutt's legacy? Like, get off the dust planet. Go somewhere else.
There are crime syndicates in other areas that.
But he's trying to go straight. Like, why would you try to go straight on Tatooine?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Some people didn't like how he was all of a sudden good guy Boba when he was a bounty hunter and, like, worked for the Empire and, like, directly for Darth Vader.
Well, and Fennec Shand is also a bounty hunter.
She was an assassin.
And he's, like, trying to make her go straight.
Yeah.
And she's not. I mean, she is doing what he says because she feels
indebted,
beholden to him.
You know.
But
I think like, you already had the bounty hunter that's kind of more straight and narrow with Mandalorian. I think Boba Fett would have been more of an opportunity to kind of have a, like, darker, grittier type character. But,
and he has a tragic backstory.
Yeah.
Like, show us more of that.
But yeah, that's not what we got.
You know.
Like,
not everything Star Wars is going to be
what we want.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think the execution on this one could have been better, especially since finally having a Boba Fett show. Like, everybody wanted more Boba Fett stuff forever. And I don't know, it just felt like it wasn't as well thought out as, like, The Mandalorian is. But anyway, that's what we got.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us wax poetic about Star Wars.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
We still have The Mandalorian.
Yes. And we're going to have the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which will probably be more Dust Planet, but...
It 100% will be.
Yes. But it will also be Kenobi. So, and they're going to have, like, Hayden Christensen also has a part in the show, so I'm hoping we'll have some, like, good flashbacks.
Yeah.
Which would be really cool.
Yeah. We'll see. They better find a real good way to make that a little different, because my goodness, can we just forget about Tatooine already?
I mean, it would make so much more sense to have Kenobi trying to, like, straighten stuff out.
Yeah.
Like, trying to, like, not be a Jedi, but, like his core is that he's a Jedi and wants to fight crime.
Yeah. Becomes
that
like a
makes more
vigilante.
sense.
Yeah.
Than Boba Fett like deciding to be a straight and narrow.
I feel like Boba Fett should have, like, the first order of business, get the armor back, get the ship back, and just fly away. Like, get me off of this stupid rock, especially since he grew up on a planet that was all water. Why does he want to stay on the dust planet?
Right. I mean, and once the Tusken Raiders that he was, like, became part of their family, like, once they were all gone, like, why? Why stay around?
The Tusken Raider stuff was cool. Yes. I just think we already kind of got some fun Tusken Raider stuff in the last season of Mandalorian with the Krayt Dragon and everything. So, and that's another thing. Mandalorian keeps going back to Tatooine too. It's like, can we just... There's so much more of Star Wars to explore.
Oh, for sure.
Why are we all hung up on these desert planets? Because the sequel trilogy had their version of Tatooine. It was just Jakku.
Right. But it was essentially the same thing.
So here's what I want. Here's my long-term... I want Grogu...
Dave Filoni, are you listening?
I want Grogu to eventually become a Jedi, and then we can just have a Star Wars trilogy about Grogu.
Yeah.
Master Grogu. And because he'll become the new Master Yoda, and or him and Rey will find each other, and they can do stuff. And I'm tired, like you said, about the whole attachment thing being in the Jedi's minds, especially Luke, because maybe he read it in these sacred Jedi texts that he finds, and he gets hung up on it. But it's like, dude, the whole thing of your trilogy, the original trilogy, is Luke's relationships with Han, Leia, Chewie, R2,
and eventually Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And, like, giving him that redemption because you love him because he's your father, even though that's, like complicated and weird.
Were you supposed to just go in there and be a robot and be like, oh, I have no attachments to you, and just kill Vader? Like, that's... Yeah, anyway, I'm on a soapbox now. But the whole attachment thing...
Well, I started the soapbox. So.
Yeah, we're still talking about the whole, Jedis don't have attachments. It's like, oh, come on, just stop it.
Which they said that a lot in the prequel trilogy, but like Obi-Wan had attachments to Qui-Gon.
And Anakin.
Well, I was going chronological.
Yeah.
Like, started out with an attachment to Qui-Gon. He was very distraught and upset when his master died. Loved Anakin. Like his brother, obviously. And he even had attachments to Padme because he cared about her.
Yeah.
And her relationship with Anakin. Like, wink, wink. I don't know what you're talking about, but he had to have known something was up. It's like, and in the animated show, like, he pretty much just knows.
Yeah.
But, so it's like, and Yoda, like, has attachments to Obi-Wan. When they're Force ghosts, they're like, yeah, we're friends. Friends are attachments.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing.
And when Order 66 goes down and Yoda can, like, feel all these Jedi dying, and he's, like, clutching his chest and he drops his cane, it's like he had attachments to all these people because he, like, trained them all.
Right.
You can't say forego all attachments.
Right. Well, he had known them all since they were kids because he's lived forever. It wasn't that he was, like, sad that the Jedi Order was failing. He was sad that these people that he cared about were dying.
I'm just really sick of the whole, to be a Jedi, you can't have friends.
Right. Or loved ones or anything.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I guess I'll be a Sith.
But the Sith don't have friends. Like, they naturally have put themselves in a position where it's hard for them to, like, have meaningful attachments because they're so angry all the time.
Yeah.
So, it's just weird.
I guess I would go for the gray Jedi route then.
Right. Be the Qui-Gon.
Be the middle. Well, he wasn't, like, technically, but I know what you mean. Like,
he was considered pretty gray.
He was a bit of a maverick, but I don't know if canonically he would be... Well, I don't think gray Jedi are even technically canon, but...
Well, no, I wasn't talking about... I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. That wasn't what I meant, but...
But, yeah, just middle of the road. Anyway, that's Star Wars.
We have feelings.
So, let's talk about...
well, OTPs!
Yeah.
Yeah. So, OTP is a person's favorite fictional romantic relationship. One true pair.
Yes.
So,
How do you want to do this? Do you want to go like back and forth?
Yeah, let's go back and forth. Starting with, so I had said let's each bring 3. I brought a few more just in case we have duplicates. Because if we have duplicates, we're going to say ditto and then add another one.
Sounds good.
But let's end with our like top.
Okay.
So I'll let you
end with the top.
Yes.
Okay.
Or do you want to go? Do you want to do that the other way?
So I don't know if they're really in order for me.
Okay. Well, okay then.
I'm just gonna. You can end with your top one. These are in no particular order for me.
Okay. I'll say mine are also in no particular order.
Okay.
But I'll let you go first.
Okay.
But if you steal my first one,
I don't think I will.
right off the bat, I'm gonna be annoyed.
Okay. Haunted. No, I'm just kidding. They're not on your list. That's shocking. Okay. Mine.
I mean, I love them, but
is one that I said you would understand when I said it because it's not actually 2 fictional characters; it's 2 actors.
Okay.
You're gonna understand as soon as I say it, though.
Okay.
Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland.
Yes, because they transcend. Like, if they're in a movie together, you want them together.
Yes, because they're in so many movies where they end up together.
But they have one, the Private Lives of Elizabeth and Essex.
Where they don't.
Because she's
Queen Elizabeth.
No, she's not Queen Elizabeth. She's one of Queen Elizabeth's handmaidens.
Oh, you're right.
And Elizabeth and Essex, obviously, are the ones that pine for each other. And Olivia is just this dejected handmaiden who loves Errol Flynn, but he does not return her affection.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like, ugh, I hate that movie because of it, because it doesn't have
I forgot about that
the 2 of them. Yeah, he ends up with Betty Davis.
But like Robin Hood, Captain Blood.
Yes.
They died with their boots on.
Yes.
She in Dodge City too.
I think so.
Yeah,
they're in so many movies together.
They are, and it's like blows my mind that they weren't actually a couple in real life. At least I don't think they were.
I don't think they were. I don't know.
At least they weren't ever married to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland are my 2.
I'll ditto that. I hadn't thought of it, but yes.
Yeah, they're one true pair.
Yeah.
They belong together in my head. So.
Yeah, I love that. I have, so kind of going along that, I'm going to group these 2 together. Mm-hmm. I have more than 3, so I know you wrote down more than 3 too, so we can just go through them. I have Robin Hood and Maid Marian, like the fictional, because there's lots of renditions of Robin Hood, right? But like that pairing, I just always love.
Sure.
And King Arthur and Guinevere, like those 2 kind of are, they're not synonymous, but they're in a very similar category in my head. Mm-hmm. So those are 2 fictional couples that I just appreciate a lot.
Yeah.
They're kind of the basis of some tropes too, I feel like, that I am here for.
Mm-hmm. Cool. My next one is Buttercup and Wesley.
Oh.
You forget about that one?
I did. Yeah. I love that.
Just because Wesley becomes a pirate and like comes back for her, and they have the whole "as you wish" thing, and
right. For those of you that don't know, this is from The Princess Bride.
Right, that's Princess Bride. Yes, Buttercup and Wesley.
I love that. Oh, that's so good.
Mm-hmm. Now you're like second guessing your choices, aren't you?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I have Jack O'Neill and Sam Carter from Stargate SG-1.
I thought about that one.
Which this is an excellent example of a TV show that has, like, the actors and characters have excellent chemistry with each other, and you so badly want them to be together.
Yeah.
But they don't give in. Like, the show writers don't. Like, there's a very specific reason why they're not together. Mm-hmm. Because they're in the military. Yeah. On the same unit. Like, so they're not allowed to be romantic, but, like, any chance that there's, like, there are so many episodes where it's
like alternate universe or something. Like
alternate universe, or, like, they have to, it's like, you know, it's a sci-fi show, so
yeah,
there's alien technology that's making them be truthful, and they, you know, have to admit feelings.
I want to be with you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't leave you. It's like,
never let go, Jack O'Neill.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So they're one of my, I love them, and I think that's a really fine line for TV shows, because, like, Castle had that good chemistry between Kate Beckett and Castle.
Richard Castle.
Thank you. I can't think of his first name. But then once the show writers gave in and like made them a couple, it just started to fall apart quickly.
Because they lost the whole will they, won't they?
Right. And then it was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
But good one. Good one.
Thank you.
So, for my last, well, we don't have to pretend that be last, but for my next one, I'm torn on whether to do one that I could either steal one from you that I know you probably wrote down, or do one that's kind of a cheat because Hope actually brought it up earlier.
Do that one.
I'll do that one. So this is from Firefly, and it's Zoe and Wash, like the pilot guy and the second in command. Because their chemistry is so unique, and like they love each other so much, but they also look like just an unlikely pair. But he's super, super funny. They're both funny, but
she's so serious.
Yeah, he's hilarious, and she's super serious. And she's like ex-military, and he's just the pilot guy, the goofy pilot.
Yeah. And
they just make a really hilarious couple, and I love watching them on screen together.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like we've been dancing around this one. Maybe this isn't the one you're thinking of.
I don't know.
I'm going to say Aragorn and Arwen before you steal it from me.
That wasn't the one.
Oh, okay.
I'm curious if this one's even on your list now, because if it's not, I'll be blown away. Okay, continue.
Well, so Aragorn and Arwen from Lord of the Rings, obviously. They've always been...
Which is kind of Arthur and Guinevere.
Yeah. They follow a very similar trope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except that there's no Lancelot.
I don't know.
Well, unless you consider Éowyn to be a Lancelot character.
Kind of.
She kind of is.
Éowyn's Lancelot.
But
I've never thought about that. That's funny.
Except that...
she doesn't die.
That would make Aragorn Guinevere.
Yeah.
And he's
got the hair.
Yeah, but he doesn't cave.
Yeah, you're right.
Guinevere caves.
He doesn't cave.
They for sure have an affair. But,
Who's
and not Éowyn and Aragorn.
Lancelot and Guinevere.
Faramir's character does not exist in the legend of King Arthur.
The one that actually gets with Lancelot.
Yeah. But no, I love that. I love that pair. Even though they don't get a lot of screen time in the books. And they don't really get it in the movies either. But I'm just going to say, I liked them as a couple before the movies.
Yeah. I mean, they just have... They're epic. You know, like their entire relationship and like how they met and what events transpired for them to even meet, and like both of their lineages and all this. It's epic.
And like what they had to overcome to get to be together, and and like what they're both willing to sacrifice for each other. I just love it so much. Yeah. That's my number one. I have others, but that's like...
Okay, I'm going to save the one that I thought that you put down just to see if you ever bring it up. Okay. So next... I'm going to do these next two at once because they're from the same anime. It's from an anime, and they're both from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Oh. And one is Hughes and his wife, because they're just precious, and he gushes about his wife and daughter every chance he gets, and they're just so wholesome. Cute. And also Hawkeye and Mustang.
Yes.
They're kind of like in O'Neill and Major Carter.
Yes, very similar.
Because they're not together because they're both in the military, but like they are clearly both in love with each other and would do anything for each other. And they're
and they also are willing to sacrifice a lot for each other.
Yeah. So they're really fun to watch. They have interesting backstories too. Because
what are their first names? I can never remember.
Riza, Hawkeye, Roy Mustang.
Okay. So when you say Hawkeye, I always think of MCU, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, no. This is anime. So if you've seen that anime, you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, you don't.
Yeah.
So these are personal, not like things that I've seen.
Heavily implied.
Yeah. Although I will say there's a couple that would be on my list that I'm not going to talk about because it's from Mistborn, and I want Anna to read Mistborn, and I don't want to spoil it. So
yeah, and they would be spoilers, like they're not.
Well, you don't know if.
Like part of the story is them coming together.
They're not.
Is that what you're saying?
A couple in the beginning.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Fair.
So yeah. Anyway, continue. Who's the next one for you?
Well, I have Emma and Mr. Knightley from Jane Austen's Emma, which, and I also love Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, but of the couples, like if I had to pick one Jane Austen couple, I think I would pick Emma and Knightley, because I love that she is so, she thinks she knows everything, and she's like trying to be a matchmaker, and she makes some terrible matches, and Mr. Knightley calls her out on her crap and is like, you're messing up with people's lives, man. It's not cool. And they end up falling in love with each other and being super awkward and just really cute. So I really like them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine that was on my list that I was thinking that you had was Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy.
Yes, and I do love them.
Because I haven't seen any other, or that's not true. I have seen other Jane Austen things in movie form, but that's the one that sticks in my head the most because of the Keira Knightley version and the performances and the music and everything.
Oh, I mean, that is my favorite Austen movie.
It's a very, very, even if you don't like romance or period pieces or anything like that, it's just for like the visuals and the music alone, it's worth watching, even if that's not your preferred genre. Right.
It's just very beautifully and artfully done. And I will say the newest Emma, because there's a new version of Emma that came out. I think that was the last movie I saw in theaters before, like, COVID.
Really?
So it came out early 2020.
Okay.
Very, very good. Very well done. Beautiful. A little goofier than, because Emma's a little bit of a goofier story than Pride and Prejudice is, but because of the matchmaking and whatever. But
sure.
Very, very well done.
What's you got?
Okay. Well, I had Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner because I was looking at my DVD collection. I saw Pirates movies. And,
yeah. But we're on the topic of Keira Knightley.
Yes. And then this last one I wanted to give an honorable mention to, even though I know that it is for sure not actually canon or a relationship. I just want to talk about Lan. And say her name for me again. Moiraine from Wheel of Time. And I've only seen the Amazon show. I haven't watched or read the books yet.
Yeah.
And in the show, it's very clear that they are not together. But they just have such good chemistry, and I just want them to be together.
Yeah.
So they're not like really an OTP. It's just a ship.
It is.
But.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
I know.
Even kind of.
I know.
But I understand where you're coming from.
Like their character archetypes. Typically would end up together.
Like they know each other really well. Well, really, Moiraine's character archetype normally wouldn't even really get with anyone because she's the Gandalf. Like she's supposed to be the.
That's true.
She takes the Gandalf role, or the old Ben role. She's the wise old mentor.
She's not that. Well, she's old, but she's not that old.
Right. She's older than she looks because of the one power. But I can see from the show, since you've seen the show, why you think that. Yeah. You're also a sucker for Aragorn characters, and Lan is 100%
an
Aragorn character.
Yes, and the character he ends up with in the show, I do not like.
Yeah.
I do not want him with her at all. I hate it. Like, I just cannot stand it.
That's just because you don't like her.
She is so annoying.
Yeah.
I don't get annoyed with characters like that very often.
Yeah.
But and by that I mean I don't get annoyed at characters often. Not characters specifically like hers. Because I think if I encountered more characters specifically like hers, I would get more annoyed with characters. But oh my gosh.
That's a common reaction to the first book of Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
The character's name is Nynaeve. Not going to get heavy into spoilers, really.
No.
But she's just her personality is very grating. She thinks she knows everything, and she
clearly doesn't.
Okay, minor spoilers for Wheel of Time incoming. If you're planning on watching or reading, maybe skip. I'm not going to get too deep. But basically, in in the first book, it's typical fantasy plot. They get whisked off onto this adventure. Moiraine's the wise old mentor figure. But Nynaeve is this character where she's kind of unique in that she thinks that she's the voice of reason, and she, in the books, kind of in the show, but more so in the books, she chases after the kids that get whisked away on this adventure, and the people that took them, who she envisions as like their borderline kidnappers, and she's trying to rescue them and bring them back to their village.
Yeah.
To sanity and to normalcy, and her position makes a lot of sense in the books.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense in the show too.
But
she's just so annoying.
Even in the books, she's pretty annoying because it's just like, just let him have fun and go on an adventure. Why are you like raining on the parade here, Nynaeve? Mm-hmm. It's like because people could die, and I'm supposed to be in charge of them.
Yeah.
So like her position makes sense, but it's still kind of a wet blanket.
Yes.
Position to be in. I will say in the books she does eventually get better, but it takes a while. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so that's Wheel of Time.
So I know that my ship for that series will not happen.
No.
But it's still in the back of my head.
Yeah, I hear
want it to happen.
For one more for me, I would throw in Faramir and Éowyn. I think they're higher up on my list than Aragorn and Arwen.
Both of those relationships have very special places in my heart, mm-hmm. but very different places.
Yeah, I like Faramir and Éowyn, I think, more because it's more like they finally found their person, mm-hmm. where they, like Éowyn had this thing where she was pining after Aragorn. Faramir, who knows, like, what his love life was like before.
Right, it's not... He was so... He had so much other, like,
he had too many daddy issues.
Trauma things happening that,
I doubt he even had a love life. Yeah, too many daddy issues and
mm-hmm.
chasing after his dad's affection and...
Mm-hmm.
Respect.
Just basic human decency.
Yeah. Love, even.
The worst.
Just hoping that his dad loves him
mm-hmm.
as much as his big brother.
Even at all.
Yeah. Even kind of. So, yeah. But then, against all odds, they end up getting together just because they were both in the hospital at the same time, basically.
Right. Well, they were both in a position where they felt like they had to give their lives to be valuable
mm-hmm.
to anything. And so, like, their love story is, like, a story of overcoming, like, depression and trauma. And finding, like, hope and value again. Like, it's beautiful.
In each other, because
mm-hmm.
they both love each other. And, like, Faramir got the love that he was looking for.
And they can show each other, like, you're worth loving.
Yeah.
You're valuable to me. It's very,
So, I really like their relationship. That's probably my favorite couple in Lord of the Rings.
Totally fair.
So,
I support this.
Mm-hmm.
They're also one of my favorites. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Any more on your list, or are we tapped out?
Well, I didn't have Han and Leia written down, but in previous episodes I have talked about how growing up they were like my OTP.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just wanted Han and Leia to be together so badly in Star Wars when we first watched the original trilogy.
Well, when did you start thinking that? Like, even in the first movie, you wanted them to be a thing?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I know, like, the first movie, it's more like a Luke and Leia are going to be a thing, because we don't know about the whole sibling thing yet.
Yeah, I think even as a kid, though, I recognized that Han was more desirable than Luke.
Well, that's just blatantly true, you know?
Well, yeah, no, I know.
Because Luke is just a whiny farm boy.
Yes. But I think, like, as a kid, I was like, oh, Han is the one to want. So I want Leia to be with Han.
Yeah.
And they had good chemistry even in the first. Even though, like, the show, or the movie was, like, pushing more for Luke and Leia. Even in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, obviously. Like, Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford had good chemistry.
Wonder why.
So I just always wanted that to be a thing. And I'll admit that even like, you know, as a 20-something-year-old seeing the latest trilogy and having Han and Leia like have a you know, separation. I was like, oh, why can't they just be happy? Mm-hmm. Why can't they just be together and be happy?
Yeah.
So annoying.
At least you have your...
Why is there always strife?
At least there's the extended...
yes.
Or expanded, or extended. Extended universe?
I think it's always been extended. I don't know. But yeah, I have lots and lots of Legends novels that fully support Han and Leia
having a good relationship. Well,
not a relationship without problems.
More stable than just more separated.
Than what we see in whatever that first movie.
The Force Awakens. Yeah. The Force Awakens.
I was drawing a blank on what all of them were called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But they get honorable mention because they've been like one of my OTPs for a long time. Mm-hmm. I'm just sad that they didn't get more like screen time being together and happy. Because I think they both deserve to be together and happy.
Yeah.
I don't know why the show writers can't just give that to them.
Not enough conflict. We need drama.
You can get drama in other places.
Nah. Only relationship.
Sad day.
Ruin all the OTPs.
Yeah.
So. There's probably more.
Oh, for sure.
Specifically, like, Lord of the Rings ones I could think of from, like, the Silmarillion. Mm-hmm. But...
I've always been a fan of Galadriel and Celeborn, even though we don't get a lot about their relationship.
I was going to go with kind of the OG Galadriel and Celeborn couple, which is Thingol and Melian.
Oh. And I was going to go with Beren and Luthien, the OG Aragorn and Arwen.
Exactly. So...
Deep cuts here, guys.
Yeah. But anyway, we're not going to go into Turin because he accidentally...
Yeah, just stop.
Yeah.
So much trauma.
It's not good.
Trauma with a capital T.
Stands for Turin. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I have for OTPs.
Yeah.
But
so it's a shorter episode today, but
happy Valentine's Day.
A little late.
Hope you enjoy your day by the time you're reading this, or reading this. Wow, by the time you're listening to this, I hope you enjoyed Valentine's Day with your one true pair,
or by yourself,
or had a wonderful evening of self-care.
Hey, where my peeps at?
Because you know what, being single ain't a crime.
No.
Sometimes for some people it's better. So.
Thanks, dude.
I'm not saying that about you.
No, I know you're not. That was a sincere, like,
okay.
Thanks for shouting out to the single people.
I thought it was sarcastic for a second.
No. It was like sincere thank you for like reminding. Because sometimes, not to get too deep on the podcast, but sometimes it does feel like, as a single person, you're seen as less valuable to like media and. Like the whole
workplaces. The whole like you complete me like
right.
Gross. Like you are your own autonomous, complete and full person.
Right.
If you find someone else that you enjoy spending time with that compliments you, then like I don't mean like literally compliments you. I mean like
goes well together.
Yes,
with
yes,
you.
that pairs well with you.
Compliment with an E instead of an I, right?
I don't know. English major, you tell me.
I mean, I just sounded like an idiot. Well, whatever. It's fine.
But yeah. So, all y'all just have a good day of self-care, and or spending the day with your significant other.
Get some flowers for yourself or for your partner. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Get some chocolate. Whatever strikes your fancy.
Or hang out with your pet.
Now that you're listening to this after Valentine's Day, so you could have a Valentine's Day part 2 if you didn't do that for yourself.
Yeah, man. Just go for it.
It's just a day on the calendar.
Just get some more chocolate.
Where a saint died that we've somehow turned into...
a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. We're not going to get into it.
Anyway.
Holidays can be dumb.
Strange. Very strange.
But yeah. Hope y'all had a good Valentine's Day, and we will talk at you next time. But before, really quick, we sign off for real.
Yes.
We didn't do this in the beginning, even though we should have. Plug the Patreon.
Oh yeah, the Patreon.
Which is live now.
Yes.
So if you're interested in becoming a patron, we'll link that in the description. There's 2 subscription tiers, $5 and $10.
There's already a poll live, so you can vote on what our next read-along book will be.
Mm-hmm. So go check that out if you're interested. And just that first tier gets you voting rights. That second tier will be for some exclusive deep dive videos into either Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. Or something.
Yeah.
It'll be like you'll just get a bonus video once a month.
Of us like really letting go on some of our nerdiness.
So, if you're interested, check that out if you want to support us and help us keep cranking out episodes. That'd be awesome. But that's all I got. So
awesome. Oh, and The Blade itself, there's still a couple more episodes of that, so you could catch up.
Yeah.
No, those episodes will be available forever, but we are finishing up The Blade itself in the next couple weeks.
So if you're interested in voting on what our next book will be, definitely go and subscribe to that first $5 here, or you'll also get voting privileges for the second one. But go check that out, and you can vote and let us know what book you want us to read next for the read along. So yeah. But until next time, go read something cool.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.